Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to the Coach's Show here at the Eatery in downtown Lexington. I'm Miles Poole, along with Jared Bowman, who's doing the engineering work tonight, Tristan Wells on camera for us this evening, Matt Jacobs, again, our host. We appreciate that. And the man of the hour, the athletic director and head men's basketball coach at DDCC, Matt Ridge. Coach, welcome.
I don't know about the man of the hour, but I am excited to be here, and as always, Miles, Jared, Tristan, Coach Jacobs, everybody involved behind the scenes, I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Well, I want to remind the folks out there in Facebook land, and if you're watching other methods, you can ask Coach a question. We'll be following on the Facebook page, the Men's Storm Basketball Facebook page, and you can ask Coach a question. We'll be following that, so feel free to do that, and we'll fit those in. And anybody in here at the Eatery that wants to come up and ask Coach a question, we're open for that as well. So, Coach, busy week. We're not even finished with a week yet, but busy basketball week for you guys, and we'll go ahead and talk first of all about the games you had this week, starting off Monday. A loss to Chipola, 94-69, a team that made it to the Final Four last year in Division I, 23-5 last year. They are a D1 team. Talk a little bit about that game, not the outcome you wanted, of course, but how you feel the team performed against one of the better teams in Division I.
Well, they're not just a D1 team, Miles. They're one of the elite D1 teams in the country. They have a boatload of Division I NCAA-type talent. Last year they had the 7'3" kid that's at Florida State now, and a guard that was a high major kid, had about 15 D1 high major offers. And this year's roster is no different. They have a 6'10" guard. I mean, they're just loaded with talent. And there was a young man, just to show you how loaded they really are, that averaged 3 minutes a game, according to my assistant, Coach Allen, on last year's team. 3 minutes a game, and he went 8 of 10 from three. So, you know, we obviously didn't have him pegged as somebody we were going to take the three ball away because we had no idea he was that talented. But one of their starting shooting guards had not been practicing as much as the coach wanted. And so they started that young man, and we got out on him pretty good throughout the game, I thought. But he was really got hot, which obviously hurt us. And then their zone was so effective. They're so athletic and so well coached. Their head coach was formerly the head coach at Tennessee for 1 year, and then he's been at other Division I NCAA schools. So obviously they're very well coached. They have a ton of Division I NCAA-type talent. And, you know, we got off to a pretty good start. Javion was playing at a high level. LJ, it was tied up after 10 minutes, and then we started making some poor, careless decisions with the ball. Had way too many turnovers to compete against really any team, but especially a team of that caliber. But I was proud of our effort. I thought we played hard. We just didn't make great decisions with the ball. So a major point of emphasis was value in the ball, taking great shots in between Monday and Wednesday's game, which I thought we did a little bit better of a job of. We still had too many turnovers on Wednesday night, last night.
Well, you mentioned the turnovers. Also, in looking at the game stats, really the Indians on the boards too, which is an extremely unusual position for one of your teams to be in. I think 31-15. 17 of their boards came from two of their players, 6'10" sophomore and the 6'9" freshman that you mentioned. How much did their size affect what you guys were trying to do?
Well, obviously, you know, when their guards are 6'10" and 6'7" and 6'6", that makes it more difficult, but we obviously emphasize blocking out and rebounding. But, you know, there's not a lot of defensive rebounds to get when the other team's shooting 60% from three, and that's what they did. I mean, shooting the three ball at 60% is unheard of at any level. But, you know, I thought our effort wasn't terrible in terms of blocking out and rebounding. There just wasn't a ton of defensive rebounds to get because they shot such a high percentage. Now, on the other end, we didn't get as many offensive rebounds I felt like we could have got because they sit in that – well, they didn't sit in the zone, but they were in a zone all night, and they rebounded the ball really well out of it, but I thought we could have crashed a little harder, which we did do last night.
So you mentioned the 60% from beyond the arc. Shea Davis, the guy that you said was 8 for 10 from three-point range. He had that 31-point night. When someone is that hot, what do you as a coach try to do defensively to break that up?
We have three different types of closeouts, and I call them Ray Allen closeout, where you close out on a kid that can really shoot it, and we want to make him drive. We have Kobe closeouts when you're closing out on somebody that can really drive and shoot it. And then we have rondo closeouts where we close out and give them space and dare them to shoot it. But that young man, we went to Ray Allen closeouts fairly quickly. And I thought at times we actually defended it pretty well. But he could shoot over us, and he got hot. And some of them were from really downtown, I mean, beyond the NBA three-point line. So some of those you just have to tip your hat to. But at the end of the day, it's not about beating Chipola. It's about getting better, which I think we did between Monday and Wednesday. And one of Central Carolina's strengths is shooting a three. And I thought we did a fairly good job of contesting shots last night.
Well, I wanted one more question about the Indian game down in Florida. They were 12-0 at home last year. I think they have a 18-game winning streak at their home place. Very similar to what you guys do at Brinkley, right? It's a nice atmosphere. What was the atmosphere like down there at Milton Johnson Center?
Most JUCOs in Florida have housing. They have dorms. It's kind of like a four-year school feel. Obviously, their gym is a lot bigger than ours, but they actually had a student section, which, you know, for a junior college in this region of the country, there's very few students that actually go to athletic events because a lot of the students obviously live all over the place. They're not on campus. So they had a student section, and I thought, they had a pretty good crowd, and their energy helped Chipola. I thought that the home crowd there definitely was a factor. But at the end of the day, they got a lot of talent. They got a lot of size. They're well coached. And over a 40-minute stretch, we knew there were going to be some runs. We just didn't expect their runs to be as long as they were. When we're turning the ball over 6 and 7 times in a row, which actually happened in one stretch, I mean, that's the ball game when you're playing somebody that talented. So I hope our kids, learn from that. I certainly am trying to emphasize that as a coach. You got to make the right play at the right time, throw zip passes away from the opponent's defenders and not just to your teammates.
Well, much better outcome last night. We'll talk about last night's game now against the Cougars of Central Carolina Community College. So after that long road game, you and I were texting on Tuesday. You guys were coming back. It was late Tuesday night. You said we still have 2 more hours to go. You had to turn around and play on Wednesday. How tough was it and is it for you and your coach, Coach Allen team to get ready and prepare for an opponent when you've got that shorter turnaround? Well,
Monday night when we got back to the hotel, I had ordered pizzas for the guys. I passed out the scouting report that night for Central Carolina, so we started preparing Monday night. We did get up for breakfast at the hotel. We left around 9:30 Central Time, which was 10:30 here, because we lose an hour coming back. We got back at 10 o'clock, and I had planned on practicing, but based on, the fact that we had played a tough game, our numbers were down because of injuries, and we have some unique situations, and our numbers being what they are, I decided just to send them home. And then on Wednesday afternoon after class, we did a fairly long film session of Central Carolina, and we really harped on the scouting report on what they do offensively and to try to take their three ball away and how we wanted to defend certain actions like their horn sets and some of the other offenses they ran. And I was really proud, Miles, of how our kids were a sponge in film session Wednesday afternoon from 3 to 4 o'clock and took what we told them during that hour and showed them on film to the game. And I think last year's team and the last 2 years really, our teams have been really good at taking what they learned in film session and the scout report and applying to the game. And I think last night our kids did just that.
Yeah, you came away with a 107-64 win over a tough Cougar team. A team that on Monday, they had played Monday too, and they gave Lewisburg a very tough game, only lost, I think, by 7 or 8 points. So talk a little bit about the game last night.
Well, number one, we shot the ball well. Our kids, anytime you're playing at home, you're used to the rims, you're used to the gym. Javion, I think, was 3 of 5 from 3. Zai was 4 of 6 from 3. Scriven was 2 of 4. LJ was 3 of 8. So we shot it at a high percentage. It was, I think, around 43 or 44% for the team. I think we hit 16 threes. So, number one, we shot the ball well, Miles. But the effort defensively, to me, was the key. After about 6, 7, 8 minutes, we changed how we were guarding ball screens. We went trapping. I thought that really contributed to a lot of runouts. We got some deflections and some offense off of our defense, so to speak. And then we just started getting after it more in the half court, denying and just playing our shell principles.
Well, you held. You set the tone first half. I mean, the game was tied at 10-10 at one point, about 7 minutes into the ball game, and then you guys went on an 8-2 run, I think. But as I looked at the first half stats, you held Central Carolina to 27 points. You forced 19 turnovers, and you kept the Cougars from getting a single offensive rebound. Just very intense performance by your team coming out after a long, tough road loss just a night or two before. Were you surprised at the team's energy level, the way they came out? Or?
To be honest, I bet you're probably going to be surprised at my answer, but no. When you have types of kids like Javion and LJ that can literally not live without basketball, they eat, sleep, and drink it. And one of my non-negotiables is effort. No, it didn't surprise me. I was proud of their effort, but I was not shocked at their effort.
57 points, 29 of your 42 rebounds came from the bench in the win last night. Talk about the depth of talent that you've got on this squad.
Well, honestly, we only dressed 11 of our 15. We have 3 or 4 kids injured, one of which got actually cleared today to practice tomorrow, Chase Mebane. But I don't think we've seen really the true depth. Now, last night, obviously, our bench came in and was a huge factor for us. But if you look at the history of our teams over the last 15 years, we've had a lot of young men that come off our bench that probably would start at a lot of JUCOs, or if not most JUCOs. I mean, just look at the scenario from 4 years ago. We're playing in the regional finals against Sand Hills, arch rival. We win the game. 2 days later, we find out our starting 5 is suspended. We go to the districts without our starting 5 and win 2 games with 6 through 15 and advance to the Elite Eight in the national tournament and win 1 game there. So I'm really proud of the efforts of my assistant coaches, the Jamar Marshes, certainly Coach Allen. Last year, Coach Jay. I mean, I could keep going, Coach Mullis. I've had so many assistants that burn up the roads in the state of North Carolina to find high-level talent, and not just high-talented kids, but also kids that listen, play hard with a great attitude. And over a 7-8 month period, when you do that and you're coachable, you're going to get better individually and collectively.
Well, you talked a little bit about it. You moved the ball around well last night. You had 5 players in double figures. And we talked about the bench and how well the bench played. After your first 2 games, I know it's early, I'd like your assessment of what you think the team chemistry is at this point in the season.
I think it's good. It's hard to have great chemistry when you have so many injuries. Chase hasn't practiced in 2 weeks almost. He's going to be back tomorrow. Tim won't be with us until January. Mike Wade still, we're not sure when he's going to be back. So, as these guys come back and practice, all 3 of those guys can play. So, the chemistry last night was really good. I think everybody that went in the game contributed. But chemistry is going to continue to evolve because we have so many guys that are not playing right now due to injuries. And so it's going to be interesting to see how roles emerge and change because we've got some guys that can really play that haven't even been dressing for us.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned I can't get them here, Jared. For some reason, I'm not getting the Facebook comments. Okay. So you mentioned injuries. You talked about injuries, and Jaden Scriven, I thought he had a great game last night with 16 points after getting banged up in the preseason. And last year he had the knee injury going down the stretch. He had to have some surgery. Do you feel like he's back 100% at this point?
Well, there's 3 or 4 guys from the Chipola game that I challenged to be more aggressive, and he certainly responded to that challenge. I was proud that he was more aggressive. However, he had way too many turnovers. He had, I believe, 7. But he was a lot more assertive and aggressive and had some big-time plays for us. Not just the alley-oop dunks, but he had some moves around the basket where he was finishing through contact, Miles. We need Jaden to continue to play at a high level on both ends.
So we have
I think he just walked in the door. Jaden Scriven, we're talking about
That's perfect timing. Actually, a caller, a texter, someone you're familiar with, Candace Ridge, is asking, what's an update on the team injuries and how are the players recovering from a long week of travel and games before first conference, which is what we're into at this point. So that's perfect timing. L.J. Rogers took a blow to the head early in the second half last night, hit the court pretty hard. How was he today?
Well, first of all, I want to tell my wife I love her and I appreciate her chiming in. I hope the kids are doing their homework. I'm sure they are with you at the helm and holding down the fort. But LJ did take a bad fall last night, as you well know. I've checked on him a couple times today. He's feeling some better, but we are going to err on the side of precaution and follow concussion protocols with him and follow that very closely. Like I said earlier, Chase Mebane will be back tomorrow at practice. He got clear today. Tim obviously had that finger surgery last week, so he'll be out till January. He actually went back to the doctor as well, so he'll go back in 3 more weeks for another evaluation.
Jarvis Tillman actually last night looked like about 4 minutes into the game. He started, by the way, he looked pretty good coming out of the box, but about 4 minutes into the game, looked like he tweaked an ankle. How is he?
Jarvis, how's that ankle feeling? He says it's feeling pretty good, Miles. I talked to him earlier today, and I actually had him in my office and looked at it. It's swollen. He doesn't know it yet, but he will not be practicing tomorrow. We're going to sit him out and ice him up. But here, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, he's obviously walking on it. But, we're going to watch that closely because we got a lot of games. I mean, it's season's a marathon, not a sprint, and we're going to, treat it just that way and err on the side of precaution because we are fairly deep.
You mentioned Tim Woolware, too. Just wanted to see if we have maybe an update on when he's expected to return after the hand surgery.
Yeah, Tim should be back early January. Actually, I think the 6 to 8 week period is mid-December, but our last game in the fall is at Lewisburg on December 15th. So I doubt he'll play, and we'll get him ready to roll on hopefully January 1st against Sand Hills.
All right. So thank you for that, for leading us into that, Candace. We appreciate the chime in. And folks, if you want to ask Coach Ridge a question, please type it into Facebook, and we'll be able to follow that. So we're going to take a little bit of break before we talk about upcoming games. I think we had some interviews potentially scheduled here.
Jaheem Taylor, if you would grab that. I don't know where Ethan went. He was supposed to do that. That's a brick for tomorrow, Ethan.
He said he could handle it.
I don't know. The best ability is dependability, Ethan. Hold that up real close to you.
All right, Jaheem. So Jaheem Taylor joining us now, freshman guard out of Charleston, Princeton High School, I think, right? Princeton High School. Good game last night for you guys. Nice win. You had 7 points, I believe. Three rebounds, 3 assists. You guys look good coming off the bench. You had some solid minutes. How do you feel about the game last night?
I feel it was a good game all around. We all played together, and we played good as a team. And I feel like I did a pretty good job coming off the bench, playing strong, and trying to do my job.
Well, you did it well last night. Again, we talked about how strong the bench played with the 57 points. So Charleston High School, down in Charleston, high school in Charleston, how did you choose or how did you come to Davidson-Davie?
Well, first off, Princeton is in North Carolina.
Oh, it's in North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina.
Gotcha.
But actually, it was right after we just lost in the playoffs last year. I got a text from Coach. Well, first from my high school coach, told me that Coach was going to be calling me, and then Coach called me, and then we talked, and then after that we've been in contact, and then I think it was May-ish, I came up for open gym to run with the team and stuff like that, and it went pretty well.
So before Coach called you, had you heard of the storm? Were you aware of the storm?
No, I had no idea about it.
So you know nothing of the history?
Nah.
Well, you have to study up on that because they've got a long history, 14 seasons, now into the 15th season, and it's a strong program. So you made a wise choice. So early into the year, I know we're only 2 games into the season, but how are you feeling about the team?
I feel like the team is going to be really good. I feel like we can go all the way just on the hard work every day in practice and everybody showing that they want to go all the way.
So that's a team goal for you. Any personal goals that you've got for yourself?
Just a personal goal for me is I want to be the best player that I can be for the team to help us go all the way. Whatever role that may be for me now, then, I just want to do my role and be a big helper to the team.
Any things that you are planning on doing post playing basketball for the Storm and post college? Any kind of goals that you've got for yourself early in your life?
I want to play for professionally.
Okay.
Whether that's the NBA or overseas.
Okay. So you said you think the team can go all the way. I got to ask you a question because Coach said something, after the long road trip, you guys got home about 10 o'clock. He was thinking about getting you guys in the gym and going through some practice. Tough coach, hard coach, good coach. What's it like playing for Coach Ridge and Coach Allen?
It's pretty good. They're definitely on me a lot, but that's because they believe in me and know how far I can do, and they want to push me to be the best I can be. So I really appreciate both of the coaches.
Well, we appreciate you choosing Davidson-Davie as the place to come play your college basketball. We're looking forward to a good season. Had a great night last night. Keep up with that.
Thank you. Will do.
Okay. That's Jaheem Taylor.
Miles, Jaheem's going to have a bright, bright future, not just because of his talent, but his humility. He embraces getting coached hard, and, he comes from a winning program. I believe they went whatever and won. They won a boatload of games his senior year, and he averaged like 24, 25 points a game, 7 or 8 assists. So he can really play.
So you got any more? We got any more that want to step up here?
Absolutely. Jarvis Tillman. Come here, buddy. Grab that chair, Jarvis. Jarvis is obviously one of our returners. Tweaked his ankle last night. He is probably, if not the best shot blocker I've ever coached, certainly one of them. Humble as they come, extremely coachable, and very savvy.
I'll let you have the mic there, Jarvis. First of all, started last night, tough game, about 4 minutes into the contest. You tweaked your ankle. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, like you said, I'm going to sit out a practice or two to make sure everything all right. You don't want to risk it because we do have a long season ahead of us. But as of right now, I mean, you feel pretty good.
Now, I noticed something coming into this year. You switched numbers.
Yes,
right?
yes,
You
sir.
were 44 last year, and you're double zero this year. Anything behind that?
Not really. Just really new year, new me. I feel way more confident this year. I feel like I'm going to play a big part this year and help us get even more wins and hopefully win it all.
Tell us a little bit about the experience you had with this team last year. Really good season, 23-3, I think, for the year, making it all the way to the finals. Talk about that experience.
The experience was new because from high school, I mean, we had a great team. We win, but we never made it that far. Really getting to know the guys. I feel like the team, everybody took a great effort to build chemistry even off the court. And on the court, I think that played a huge role. And also the defense, it was just great times in practice. I mean, we worked hard, but I say the chemistry through it all was a main thing in my experience, and I loved it.
Now, you played high school ball at Richmond County?
Yeah, Richmond
I think
County, Richmond High.
From Hamlet, North Carolina. How did you come to choose to play for Storm basketball?
Well, I had a few other schools, JUCOs, but when Coach Ridge came to me, I could tell that he actually loved the game for real. He really loved it. I love it, but Coach Ridge loved the game. When he said he eat, sleep, and walk basketball, he really does, and it kind of motivated me more. I feel like he inspired me even more just to keep grinding, and hopefully I make it to where I want to. So I felt like this was a great place for me to come.
So what are your personal goals for this season?
This season, I'm going to be more of a threat to score, help the team out. I feel like my defense is pretty good. I feel like once I become a dominant scorer for real, I could help the team even more. And that's just one of my goals.
Do you have any goals set for yourself after basketball, after college?
Yes. Well, after Davidson, I want to move on to a 4-year. Also, I'm into engineering, so one of these days I want to open my own business.
So you got 9 returning players from last year's team. You got a good mix of new players. How are you feeling early in the season about the team chemistry here?
I feel great. Already the young guys coming in, the freshmen, they coming in well. I feel like we gonna do more. The season just starting. I feel like they getting the experience of college experience, and they learning. But our chemistry is great already, but it's just a lot of room for us to grow. I feel like they're going to catch on pretty quickly.
Well, last question for you, and I asked the same question prior. What's it like playing for Coach Ridge and Coach Allen?
It's great.
He's sitting beside of you now.
It's great. It's a great experience. He's going to work you. Like I said, you probably ain't going to meet somebody that love basketball more than him. He going to push you. He going to actually get the potential out of you that you have in yourself, even if you don't see it in yourself. But it's great. It's great playing for him.
All right. Well, thank you for spending some time with us, Jarvis. Take care of that ankle, get it healed up, and we look forward to a good season from you. All right. Nice job. That's Jarvis Tillman.
Jarvis is another great example of a high character young man with a lot of integrity that I have a lot of hopes and aspirations for this season. He is a young man that can affect the game in a lot of ways other than scoring, but I have challenged him a lot this year to become more of a threat to score.
2 well-spoken young men there. We appreciate them spending some time with us. So getting back, let's see if we've got any more Facebook. Getting back to basketball games coming up, let's talk about your opening conference game. Going to be at home next week against Patrick Henry Community College. It's 7 o'clock. It's a team you beat twice last year. What can we expect from Patrick Henry Community College, the Patriots, this year?
Well, Miles, that's a great question, and I don't know the answer to it because there is no film on them out there. They have not had a regular season game yet. We're their first game, and I don't even know who they scrimmage because it's not online, and I have called several people from Virginia. So other than their roster, that's all I have on. Now, obviously, I have film from last year, which we'll use, but I'm hoping between now and next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, I can find something else about our team because we do spend a lot of time scouting and prepping our guys on what to expect to see on both sides of the ball. But if there's nothing to go on, if they didn't have scrimmage games, there's nothing to go on. So I hate going into a game blind, so to speak, but that may be what we have to do and just rely on our principles.
After Patrick Henry, you hit the road for a game against Johnston Community College on Saturday the 13th. They didn't play last year, I don't think.
No, they didn't.
Playing in D3 the year before.
That's correct.
Have you had a chance to look at any film on the Jaguars from this season?
We saw them play. They were at the Jamboree we went to at Brunswick, and they are much improved. They actually beat, I believe, Sand Hills. They got a guard I recruited and offered out of Sanderson High School in Raleigh. So they will be a challenge, especially on the road. So I'm looking forward to that game. It's on a Saturday afternoon, I believe, down there in the Smithfield-Selma area. So, that'll be a challenge because they're much improved. Their coach is doing a great job of recruiting and coaching those kids up. Like I said, they beat Sand Hills in the preseason.
Got a couple more fans sending some stuff in here. Ashley Hicks Carroll just sends a heart, and she says, "Hey, Storm family." So, hi, Ashley.
Ashley is Dallas Hicks, my barber's daughter, and she has been taking care of her dad. He's a lot better now, but appreciate you, Ashley, and all the love, and I hope your dad continues to do better.
So let's talk about the three-point shot. And you guys last night were 43% from three-point range, 16 of 37. Good night from beyond the arc. I think, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think one of the NJCAA rule changes for Division II and Division III this year is that they moved the distance back.
They did. We put the line down 2 years ago, so it's been on our court for 2 years. And I was proud of how we shot the ball well from the three last night, but at the end of the day, we don't want to live and die by the three. I believe, just like Roy and like Coach Smith playing inside out, we want layups and threes in that order. the biggest thing for me is shot selection. And different players have different levels of the green light, so to speak, with me. The better shooter you are, the more freedom you're going to get. And there's no secret formula to becoming a great shooter other than getting in the gym and getting up shots during the day. And a lot of our kids do just that. We challenge them every day before practice to shoot 1,000 shots on the gun. Some of our guys do it. Some of our guys don't. Some do it some days, some do it other days. But at the end of the day, we've had players like the Kamani Hunts and other kids that have come through our program that were average shooters and became elite shooters because they made the commitment when they weren't in class and study hall or the weight room to get on that gun and get up 1,000 shots a day.
All about getting those reps in.
Mm-hmm. It's just muscle memory, Miles.
Yep.
At the end of the day, if you have good form and you get in there on that gun and you see the ball go through the basket consistently, mentally you're going to be more confident. So, a lot of those kids last night, Javion Jones spent all summer on the gun. 2 years ago, Jamarius Harrison would drive up from, Salisbury area where he lived with his mom, got on the gun almost every day, and he was player of the year in the conference, had 10 scholarships out of Davidson Community College. So, it's no secret. If you want to be great, get your tail in the gym.
So other than the three-point change for D1 and for D2 and D3, any other changes, significant changes to the rules?
There's some things they're emphasizing. Referees are emphasizing displacement. So, if you're so physical posting up where you displace a defender, that's supposed to be a foul. They want to clean that up. The block charge call and flops, I think that's the hardest call in the game personally. So they're supposed to be emphasizing calling the flop a defensive foul. So we'll see how that goes, but I do think that's a challenging call for refs to make. And then the traveling, what we're being told is unless it's blatantly obvious, they're not supposed to be calling travels. So the real questionable ones, they're supposed to let them play through it. So those are the three areas that we have been told from the booking agent and the refs that they're trying to emphasize.
As a coach and athletic director, do you have any input when the NJCAA makes these type of changes? Do you have? Do they come to you and get any kind of feedback, or do they just come down and say, this is how it's going to be?
I have never been asked for any feedback for a rule change in my 27 years of coaching at any level, college, high school, never. So I wish they would. There's some things I would like to see changed, but no, I've never been asked for any input there.
Okay. Well, we're down the home stretch now, Coach. We got a former Storm player that just sent a text in. Daniel Lawson, one of our guests last year on the show. Daniel says, love you, Coach. Can't wait to come to a game soon. Keep working, boys. Let's get a ring.
Daniel is a special young man, as you well know, to me and my family. He is absolutely killing it in the business world. He's got his own realty company. He owns a wedding venue that he bought from Justin Strickland, another former All-American Storm player that's killing it with Strickland Brothers. Daniel, we love you. You're part of the basketball family at Davidson-Davie, and you always will be special to me.
Thank you for that, Daniel. So down the home stretch, Coach, as a director of athletics, let's take a moment now to kind of spotlight the other programs at DDCC. Talk about golf, first of all.
Golf had a good fall season. Actually, golf's main season is in the spring, so that's upcoming, but they have a fall season where they play 2 or 3 matches. They went 6-6. When they go to a match, they're playing 3 to 4 teams usually. So they had a good fall season. Coach Branscom's doing a great job out on the road recruiting. He's actually working really hard for next year's class already. He's going to high school matches, recruiting several, not just guys, but women. We'd like to get some girls on our team because it is co-ed. Junior college golf is co-ed. It's all one team. The girls compete against girls, guys compete against the guys. But we'd like to get some more females on the golf team, and Coach Branscom's out beating the bushes.
Where do they usually play their matches at?
We play our home matches at Colonial Country Club. Last year, our home course was Winding Creek, which was nice, but Colonial is really nice. And so Coach Branscom and I went over there, I think, in early to mid-August and talked to the pro and worked out a deal, and they were very, very open to us playing there every day as much as we'd like throughout the year. Gave us a great deal. So I very much appreciate Colonial allowing us to use their facility for our home matches and practices.
Women's volleyball had a good season, and we'll let's get the women's volleyball.
Okay.
So Steve Elliott, his team had a good season too, 14-11, 8-4 in conference play.
Well, the volleyball team had a great year. Their record was good. They went 8-4 in conference play. It's probably I know it for a fact, it's probably the most success we've had since we've been D2. Coach Elliott brought in a boatload of talent, and the girls overcame a lot of adversity throughout the year, and really, really had a great year. I was super proud of. I mean, they very easily could have finished first or second in our division. They did have to go on the road in the quarterfinals to a tough Richard Bland team that advanced all the way to the regional finals, and that ended their season. But so proud of Coach Elliott and the job he did with the girls this year. Coach Elliott is a very knowledgeable volleyball coach that works really hard, and he's such high character. I'm so glad he's at Davidson-Davie.
We've got a couple of more folks shouting in. Kip Childress says, great atmosphere in Brinkley Gym last night. We talked about that after the game. So much fun to be part of a game when the crowd is in the game.
Well, first of all, Kip, you and Miles helped create that atmosphere. Miles, of course, online, streaming, and then your voice of the Storm last night was phenomenal. I mean, I felt like I was in the Greensboro Coliseum. I think that's what my man Manuel Teague on the stats said after the game, and I agree with him. You know, you have such a good voice. And then, of course, our fans, Miles. I mean, I cannot tell you how blessed we are to have such loyal fans in this community that come out year after year, travel. I mean, our fans travel, Miles. It's unusual in junior college to have the amount of support we have, not just at home games, but especially travel and go on the road. I mean, we've got guys that are not just traveling 2 hours up the road, but, you know, we have fans that drove all the way to Danville, Illinois last year, and we have fans that flew up to Loch Sheldrake, New York when we were in the Nationals there. So we really have a group of men and women in this community that eat, sleep, and drink Storm basketball, and I just can't thank them enough for creating an incredible atmosphere in Brinkley Gym. I didn't realize this until last night when Coach Allen brought it to my attention during pregame that we haven't lost at home in 2 years, knock on wood, right?
So, yeah, it was good. You know, it was good to hear Kip last night. I agree with you. I caught myself listening to his work at the game, and I was like, man, this guy's good.
Well, the work that both of y'all do behind the scenes does not go unnoticed by me and our administration. I appreciate you, Kip, and, of course, you, Miles, both so very much. And, of course, all the hard work Jared's putting in behind the scenes to get the new streaming system up, which was incredible. I hope our fans realize a lot of money and a lot of work went into that new streaming system. I told my wife last night it looked like we were watching HD when I was watching it last night after the game. So thank you, Jared.
Scott Whitaker, one of the Storm fans, says the Storm's next home game is against Patrick Henry. What's the scouting report for our guys on them, Coach? You talked a little bit about that. You don't have too much of one, do you?
Tell Scott if he's got some info, I'm open ears. I have not found any film on them. We will be their first regular season game. Coach Allen and I have been working hard, making a lot of calls to see who they've scrimmaged. It's not on their website, so I don't know, to be honest with you. I hate going into a game kind of blindsided like this, but at the same time, if there's nothing out there, there's nothing out there.
Okay, final question. Final couple of questions before we end tonight's program. It's been a good one. Good input from the folks. So let's talk about fundraising for the program. For athletics, it's vital for you to continue to build upon the success of what's at the school there. What are some of the things you're doing currently? Well,
we have different levels of sponsorship. I've worked with Jenny Varner and Dr. Hartness. Jenny's over our foundation. And we have an exclusive elite sponsorship. We only have 2 of those available. And we're so lucky we had Strickland Brothers and Jerry Hunt Super Center take both of those spots. We named the floor after former All-American Justin Strickland Brothers. And then Jerry Hunt Auto has a huge sign on the side of Brinkley Gym. Around that, we're trying to sell at least 4 to 6 other signs around that and other parts of Brinkley Gym. Currently, we have Mohawk Industries who have committed to a 3-year commitment. They're at the diamond level sponsorship. and I'm currently talking to several others that'll eventually go up, hopefully, once they commit. And then we have Edward Jones that have committed at the gold level, Sage Auto, Dow Craver Associates at the silver level, Novant Health and McIntyre Manufacturing. And then we have just loyal fans that have given money as well that are not on the structure. And I'll probably forget some if I start naming them because there's so many of those. The Kurt linebackers, my parents, my father-in-law, Danny Clegg. I could go on and on, Tommy Beck. So I'm sure I'm going to forget people. Yourself, Miles. There's just so many people that have, given money out of their pocketbook to help us grow this athletic program, and it's going towards athletic scholarships for future student athletes, not just basketball, but volleyball and golf. It's going towards, I'm trying right now to raise money for a digital board inside Brinkley Gym. It's going towards equipment, which I'm getting ready to hopefully buy some lights to go on the back of the backboards. So, there's lots of things we want to do that takes money. So if anyone out there is listening and know a business that's looking for a tax write-off that wants to help grow our athletic program, I would love to sit down and talk with you. You can email me or give me a call.
You're also selling season passes.
Correct.
At this point, I think they're $80.
That's correct. And that will be much cheaper than paying $7 a night that you come to home games. So if you're interested in that, please give me a call. Our next home game's Wednesday night. We'll be selling them at the door when you come in. Or if you want to buy between now and then, of course, you can meet me at the college, and I'll be glad to hook you up.
I said this half jokingly last night, but it is true. The $80, I mean, that January 1st game at home against Sandhills is worth $80. So $80 is a good deal for the season pass, folks.
I don't remember a game in Brinkley Gym against Sandhills, honest to goodness. And there might have been one about 15 years ago, but I don't remember one that wasn't sold out where people people have been turned away consistently for that game. So if you are coming on January 1st, I highly encourage you to get there really early. And buying a season pass obviously will help you get in, but it doesn't guarantee you to get in because once the gym's at capacity and the fire marshal, says it's closed, the doors are closed.
So final comments tonight. Any final shots?
Well, the neat thing about coaching, one of the neat things is you get to see young men invest so much, Miles, of course, in practice every day, weight room, in the classroom. You can give so much for the team to reach one goal. And when you got guys like Jaheem Taylor that you heard from tonight that's used to starting and playing 32 minutes out of 32 minutes in a high school game, that's willing to accept their role on game night, come off the bench with a great attitude, work hard, and be coachable, those are the kind of reasons why I coach, because you got kids on our team that would be starting, those JUCOs coming off the bench. And you saw that last night. I mean, we scored how many points off the bench?
57,
57 points. So, we've got talented young men, and I would encourage our community to look at our schedule and come out and check us out, because I think you might be surprised if you've never come to a Storm basketball game. You might enjoy it. And, it's pretty cheap, $7 to get in. So I just appreciate our community. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the people that make this night happen, and especially our players.
Well, we appreciate you, Coach, and we will invite you. We appreciate the Storm fans. Absolutely appreciate it. We invite you to come out to our home game next Wednesday at Brinkley Gym, 7 p.m. against Patrick Henry. And our next coaches show is going to be right here at the Eatery. We invite you to come out here for that. That's on November 18th. That'll be at 7 p.m. as well.
I want to mention that night I've already got a special guest lined up, and he's very special to me. He's a big reason why I coach, and that's my former high school coach, Robert Kent. I believe he won close to 700 high school games. He's in like 5 different Hall of Fames. He won a national championship at Guilford College with ML Carr, World Be Free back in the, I believe, 70s. Extremely knowledgeable coach, but more importantly, just a great human being that taught me a lot about basketball, but more about life. So we'll have special guest Robert Kent in 2 weeks.
Okay, well, we look forward to having that, and look forward to you joining us on the 18th of November right here at the Eatery at 7 p.m. Thank you to Matt Jacobs for allowing us to come in and do these here. Matt is a top-notch guy, and we love to come here, and we appreciate him inviting us in. Appreciate Tristan Wells doing the camera work tonight. Tristan, after a long day's work, thank you for that. And Jared Bowman, engineer, making this all happen. So we thank you. We thank you, Storm fans, and we will see you next Wednesday at Brinkley Gym for the 7 p.m. game, and right here at the Eatery on November 18th.
And thank you, Miles. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.
He won a national championship at Gilbert College with ML Carr, World Be Free back in the, I believe, 70s. An extremely knowledgeable coach, but more importantly, just a great
Inviting
human
us
being
in.
to talk to us
Appreciate
about
Kristen
basketball,
Wells
more
doing the
about
camera
life.
work
So
tonight. Kristen,
we'll have special
after a
guest
long day's
Robert
work,
Kent
thank you for that, and Jared Bowman. Okay, well, we look forward to having this all happen. And, so we thank you for joining us, fans, on the 18th of November, next Wednesday at Brinkley Gym for the 7 p.m. game, and right here at Matt Jacobs for allowing us to come in and do these here. Matt is a top-notch guy, and we love to come here, and we appreciate him.